Donna, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
You're welcome. Lovely to be here.
It's so nice to have you. So I just wanted to have a little chat to you today about Creatrix and what it's done for your life. How long have you been doing it now?
Oh gosh, I did my license. I licensed to be a transformologist back in 2018, end of 2018. And yeah, so that's a while now.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's that long. Even when I look back and I look at the journey and where I've got to now, I go, oh my God, like all the things I have achieved in that time is amazing because I wouldn't have achieved it without Creatrix. And I remember where I was working in my previous job, I had to deal with a lot of confrontation. I was in a sales role and I had to deal with a lot of difficult people in that organization as well. And I always found that I couldn't articulate well, and I couldn't, even with a lot of the clients, if we let them down with their work and stuff like that. So I said to my boss back then, and he was an amazing mentor, amazing, and he taught me a lot about my business and the work we were doing. But there was something inside me that just kept me playing small, and I couldn't handle the confrontation there either. So I said to him, I need to find something. I need to find a vehicle. I need to find something that was going to quieten my mind down because I had high functioning anxiety. So I found that I was anxious in a lot of those, places or around people. Sometimes I would get anxious. And I think my anxiety started when I had my second child because he was a premature baby. And that's when it sort of started for me because I wasn't really an anxious person before that. And so when it came up for me in this job, I just said to him, I need something to help just settle my mind and, get me back on the path. So, and then I found Creatrix. I did lots of research. I researched for about 12 months and I found lots of things. I'd already tried hypnotherapy, tried NET, I've been seeing a kinesiologist, done Reiki, seen a counselor after I had my second son. And nothing was really helping. Everything helped, but nothing really got me out of that feeling of anxiety, especially within, because people with anxiety hide it. You don't want to tell people that you've got it. So even people that were really, really close to me didn't know that I had it because I didn't show that I had it. So yeah, that sort of started my journey. And losing my brother-in-law, once we lost my brother-in-law, I was trying to help my family deal with their grief. And in doing that, my sister, she wasn't in a good way. I couldn't help her because I was already suffering myself. So that was a bit of why I went on the journey as well. So it was a bit of both things there. I
Mm.
found Creatrix. So yeah.
And the anxiety now?
Oh, so once I went to that program, I actually took a photo before I went and I looked a mess. I look back now and I go, my eyes were really dark. I looked really shallow and my skin was horrible. And then like a week after being in that program, everything changed quickly, like really quickly. And it was a bit bizarre. It took me a while to get used to when I did come back from that week training with the Institute. And yeah, and then I just sort of started to realize, started to notice that I wasn't talking as quickly. I felt calmer. I just felt I could handle things really easily. I resolved afraid of, conflict and that sort of stuff back in the program. And yeah, I just started to feel really good. And what I did notice the most was my son, he sort of suffered with anxiety a little bit as well. So we were seeing a kinesiologist, chiropractor at the time, like before his exams, which is normal, right? We all get anxiety before exams. But when you've got a mother that's got a bit of anxiety and you're sort of putting that on your children, it's very noticeable, right? So once I'd come out of the program and I started working on myself and I started having more sessions of Creatrix because, that's what we do in the program, I started to really calm. And then my son got into year 11 and 12 and he didn't need to go and see the kinesiologist anymore. So that for me was the best gift I could give to my children because I obviously was the problem.
Mm.
And
Wowzers.
I didn't realize until I had sorted my own stuff out that, it was going to be a ripple effect to the family. So I think that for me was the biggest thing for me, going, wow, what has just happened? Like, I just went and learned this amazing technique that helps women resolve their anxiety and they're not feeling good enough. And my children are actually benefiting, and my husband's benefiting. And I think you can't replace that. That's priceless, right?
Mm.
So
Ugh.
yeah, so that was sort of the start of it. And I just went, what the hell have I got myself into? Like, this is incredible. Have they like wiped my brain away? Like, have they taken my mind? But yeah, from then on, I just kept researching and learning, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
incredible.
Oh, it really is. My whole body just shivered when you were talking about your son, because I've heard again and again now after doing these interviews how much children's lives are changing by their parents doing the work, their mums doing the work. And then that ripple effect has been huge. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like you give them permission to be who they're actually here to be
Oh,
as well through the process.
absolutely. And I think, and that's why I encourage my boys, I don't care, what you do in your life, you decide, it's your life, your journey. I will support you 100%. But I just encourage them to do what they want to do, and do what lights them up, because I know that's what you need to do, right, to become successful. And my boys are so good. I pinch myself, but I know it's because of me, because of the work that I've done on myself. And obviously my husband's amazing. And I just think that when you change yourself and you become calm, everyone else becomes calm, and you stop lashing out. And I think for women, and especially mums, we can go from being really nice to angry in a nanosecond because they do something, right. And I found that after Creatrix, I wasn't doing that. I would still go to the old behavior of getting angry, but then I would stop halfway through and I'd go, what the hell? Like, normally I would go on for days and I'd be angry and annoyed, but that was a big thing as well. And yeah, I think they just sort of looked at me really strangely, as if to say, what happened? Like, you used to be angry, mama, and now you're just this really calm person. So yeah, you can't explain that. And the same when I speak to my clients, they say the same thing. They go to get angry, but they don't stay there. They just stop. And that's priceless,
Mm.
for mothers to be able to do that so quickly, because
Yeah,
we
like,
do everything right.
yeah. So it's great to just catch yourself in the moment.
Yeah, yeah, and reflect on that. And I think it was a realization that it was a lot to do with me. And I think when you stop blaming others for how you feel, and that's what I had to do. I had to own a lot of stuff, which was hard at first, because I'm like, no, he did this and he made me feel like that, and it was all him, and he didn't do this. And I think that coming back to that space where, no, I was the one that reacted. He's the one that's happy, And I stopped blaming. I stopped blaming my husband, and I stopped blaming people for the way I was feeling, and I took responsibility. And I think that's really important to do as well for anyone, because you can't keep blaming everyone else when you become the common denominator in the situation. So
Yeah, such a huge lesson to learn, isn't it? And once you do learn that, life
yeah,
does start changing.
yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, it's just been an incredible journey. And yeah, what Maz has created is, I can't even fathom it sometimes. And I know people, say so much about it and how great it is, but it really is.
Mm.
Like, it is. And you can't explain that to people sometimes, because they just think it's another thing or it's whatever. But it's like, no, like, you don't understand. Like, it's an internal thing that changes. So yeah.
Yes. And it's priceless, isn't it? I can't even put words to it sometimes, because and it's like it keeps going. Like, I still catch myself sometimes and I'm like, what? I never used to act like that. And now I'm acting so different.
Well, you bring calm to the room. So I can bring calm into a room, and I can remain calm in very stressful situations. I mean, we're still human and we're still going to sometimes react. I mean, we're not robots. We don't turn into something that, we just turn off all the emotions. Like, that doesn't happen. But, I feel the emotion, but I can get over things a lot quicker than previously, where I wouldn't be able to get over it. So I think that's the game changer here, right? That
Mm.
hanging on to stuff, like I wouldn't talk to my husband for a week. I'd just give him the silent treatment, like, what the hell? And he'd be nice to me, and I'm like, don't talk to me like I'd be holding a grudge and resenting. But I don't do that. I haven't done that for 5 years, since Creatrix. So yeah.
Awesome.
So,
And so, what's transformology done for your life?
oh, look, transformology and when we talk about transformology, especially coming from the space of being a Creatrix transformologist, it's about getting those right clients that are really ready to own what's going on for them. Because if we can't own that there's an issue, you can't fix something. And I think finding that right balance and that right tool that's going to work for you, with a person that's going to help you, is what is important. And transformology is all about working with that client that is really ready to make that change, because sometimes we have to make changes on our outer world to help our inner world. And if people are not prepared to make those changes on the outer world and speak up and say things that they need to say, they will stay stuck, or they can stay stuck in that certain situation. So I think when we do Creatrix and we go through that process, what we do is we resolve, we don't get rid of anything. And I think people get mixed up with that, because we don't actually get rid of anything. We just resolve what's going on in that moment for people, so then they can see it from a different perspective. So then they don't react to a situation. So, a lot of people react, and a lot of my clients I've worked with, they've had not feeling good enough, which is huge for women. That affects so many things in their life, that they lash back at their partners, or they lash at their children, or someone might question them with something. So then they lash out. But really, they just need to resolve what's going on within them. And then once they do that, they can move forward. And I think what Maz has created with Transformology and the training that we consistently get, so we're always upskilling, we're always training. Our training doesn't stop in the Uninstitute. We're always developing and finding better ways. And I think transformology needs to be in everyone that's healing people or helping people, because you've really got to work with the people that are right and ready for those things that you want to resolve.
Yeah, yeah. And what have the benefits of being a transformologist been for you?
Oh, look, being with an incredible community. I know our community, there's nothing else like it anywhere. We can ring, the trainers anytime. They're always open. We can, ask them questions. We have an amazing community where we share things in. And I love being a transformologist. We're sort of the opposite to psychologists. Like, psychologists are amazing, and we do need them where we're, people are at different levels. But like I say to my clients, you need a transformologist in your life when you've got big things that come up, right? So if you've got some events that you really can't move forward with, and they're on repeat, that's where a transformologist can come in and actually help you resolve whatever it is. And I think that being a Creatrix transformologist is a game changer to the world, to be honest, because there is all different levels for healing, and there's all different levels for where we need to get to. But being a transformologist is exciting, because I know the results we get are so quick and they're so fast. So there's no mucking around. So, and that's what I like. If you give me anything that's fast, give me the fastest way possible. That's where I'm going to go every single time. So I think, I don't think there's anything like it on the planet. And I don't think there's anything as quick to help you heal. And that's what I do believe to be the truth. And I know, because I've been through it, and I've had Creatrix over these last 5 years for different reasons. And yeah, I think that there's just nothing else like it. And that's why I'm still here doing this work, because I just love it. And I've seen the results. I continue to see those results with my clients. And they continue to tell me 3 years later, oh my God, that session we did 3 years ago, everything's still amazing. So, and yes, things do come up for them, and they can come back and work with me anytime. And some have come back 3 years later and go, hey, this has happened. So being a transformologist is about being there for your client for the long term, to help them and help them move forward. So yeah.
Yes. And if there were ladies watching this interview right now and they're considering doing Creatrix, what would you say to them?
Just do it. Like, there's nothing better, in my opinion, that's going to help you. Like, you've just got to trust. All we need them to do is trust the process. They don't even need to come to us. You don't need to come and tell us your story. We've got 3 amazing resets now, which is incredible. It's an absolute game changer.
Mm.
And, we have the self-esteem reset, we have the over-emotionalizing reset, and then we have the stress reset. So who wouldn't want those 3 things, right? So you're resolving your self-doubt, you're resolving all those things that are holding you back, but then you're actually resolving the anger and the guilt and the everything else. Especially mums, we're riddled with guilt, with our kids. And you work full time, and then you're not there for your kids, or you don't work at all, and then you're guilty because you're not making money. So there's no win, right? So I would say for anyone that is struggling right now with self-esteem or over analyzing stuff or overthinking, to just jump in with one of the transformologists and go for it, because it truly is the change that you need if you're right and ready for that change, which, it doesn't take long to get right and ready.
No, it doesn't, does it?
Once you
And
make a decision, it's just making a decision, right? Once you
yeah,
make a decision that you want to stop all the anxiety around whatever's happening for you, we can help you. That's it. That's as simple as it is.
we sure can.
Yeah.
Thank you, Donna, so much for joining me today. Or if ladies resonate with you, how can they get in touch?
You can get in touch with me on my Facebook page, Donna Brennan, or the Pink Brain. My husband came up with that name. We call it the Pink Brain because it is specifically designed for women. So you can follow me there. So yeah.
Perfect. Excellent. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Shannon. I love everything that you're doing, and you're really doing amazing. I know you haven't been in here long, but oh my God, you're changing lives already. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing, and thank you so much.
Thanks, Donna.